LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
How old were you when you realized you were the son of a president?
I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before.
FX's Love Story. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette.
I didn't think I could love someone like this until you.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
It's not a question of if I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It's if I'm cut out to be Mrs. JFK Jr.
FX's Love Story. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. Watch now on FX, Hulu, and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers.
Hello, everybody. Anthony here with the Retro Gamers Podcast. And I know this is an off week for our podcast, so this is not an official episode, but I felt that this was really important to share with everybody who listens and watches the Retro Gamers Podcast. This is another type of video that we usually do on YouTube called Retro Roundup, and it's particularly special today on February 21st because we are celebrating the 40th retro birthday of The Legend of Zelda. So Larry joined me on the show to do a special retrospective on the game that started it all, that started the franchise with Link, Zelda, Ganon, and all the other characters we met over the last 40 years. So I hope you enjoy our retro roundup on the 40th birthday of The Legend of Zelda.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Retro Gamers Podcast, your home for casual coffee table conversations about everything retro gaming. And welcome to this special Retro Roundup. Anthony here.
And Larry. What's going on, everyone? We'll happen to be back for this short, nice roundtable discussion. I shouldn't say short because that never is true.
I was just going to say, is it a roundtable discussion with only two people? I would call it more like a ping pong conversation. I think we just go back and forth.
Like in Batman when they're sitting at the very long table.
Yes. So we have a really great roundup today because we are celebrating the monumental 40th retro birthday of the one and only Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Nintendo Famicom. If there was ever a game to single out to celebrate, this has to be the top one on my list.
Oh, for you, absolutely. I mean, being the ipso facto, resident Zelda aficionado, which I don't blame you. I mean, as long as I've known you, you've always loved this game, and to me too. I mean, I love this game. I mean, diatribes aside, the original Legend of Zelda on NES, it was, I would dare say, it was a masterpiece, and I never realized, and we'll get into it later, how good it was as a kid versus when I played it seriously, gave it like a legit college try for the first time, only like within the last year or so, where I sat down and committed myself to play it. Because before I was always just kind of casual. I don't know how I made it a casual game when it's not, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to getting into this.
Yeah, no, me, and of course me, absolutely. Like you said, I go, if there's ever been one gaming franchise that has been a constant throughout my life, it's been Legend of Zelda. Like Legend of Zelda has literally defined my gaming experience.
It
really has from the very beginning. And as you can see by my collection behind me, I pretty much have almost every Zelda ever released. There are a few handheld I still don't have, but otherwise, for the most part, I think I have every console release. And a few of the handhelds I started grabbing.
Do you have the infamous CDI games?
No, I don't have the infamous.
Fair enough. Those are expensive, so I don't blame you.
So those are. You have one of them, don't you?
Well, I have Mario.
Oh, you have Mario.
Hotel Mario.
Yeah, Hotel Mario. Yes, that is true. The CDI ones I do not have. Those are probably the only like home console ones I don't have.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
But then again, a lot of people don't have those.
No, true.
But what we're going to do to celebrate Zelda's 40th birthday today is we're going to focus on talking about the original one on the NES, the one that actually is turning 40. We're going to do a little bit of a retro spotlight on it. and then just talk about our experiences with it, where it's popped up in our lives and out of our lives, and talk about get some fun facts, some stats on it, all that cool stuff.
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
All right. All right. So let's go all the way back and talk about the development of this game. It was originally released February 21st, 1986, which is why we're celebrating its 40th. The credits for the game, the main designers and everybody for the game, they are, of course, now a who's who of video game royalty, including the man who originally came up with the concept, Shigeru Miyamoto, also directed and produced the game. The story and the script were done by Takashi Tezuka.
Mhm.
This was an interesting one that I found out while researching it. The backstory for the actual video game manual was written by an anime screenwriter in the 1980s at the time named Kaiji Terui.
I didn't realize that. Like a screenwriter like that. Interesting.
Yeah, they actually had a screenwriter, but just for the manual, which was interesting. The main programmer of the game, Toshihiko Nakago, and composer, the legendary Koji Kondo.
Mm.
I mean, you can't think of I can't think of a crazier lineup of talent than the list right there.
I mean, it's almost like Nintendo didn't realize who they had. But going off on all the other games that everyone's worked on, from design, from music, and the, like you said, the background, which I don't know if you're going to talk about it, the instruction booklet, that backstory.
Mm-hmm.
I never I kind of want to read it. I've never actually sat down and read the instruction or any instruction booklet.
Really?
But I think I think after we're done today, I think I'm going to give it. I mean, it's a quick read, but the background story, because you get a lot of it in the manual that you don't really get from the game. You have to read the manual to get that story from into the game.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up because I just so happen to have the manual right here in front of me.
Shadoozle.
And I was gonna read this later on in the show, but since you bring it up, let's look at the manual right now.
Give me a rundown next time. No, let's definitely talk about it.
No. I think this is me. I like things to be organic, just like you.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right. Look, let me get one lie in on the show.
All I do is ruin the show now. Okay, no, go ahead.
Which I absolutely love. You can ruin it all day. All right. So this is right in the instruction manual, right in the first 2 pages. A long, long time ago, the world was in an age of chaos. In the midst of this chaos, in a little kingdom in the land of Hyrule, a legend was being handed down from generation to generation. The legend of the Triforce, golden triangles possessing mystical powers. One day, an evil army attacked this peaceful little kingdom and stole the Triforce of power. This army was led by Ganon, the powerful prince of darkness who sought to plunge the world into fear and darkness under his rule. Fearing his wicked rule, Zelda, the princess of this kingdom, split up the Triforce of Wisdom into 8 fragments and hid them throughout the realm to save the last remaining Triforce from the clutches of the evil Ganon. At the same time, she commanded her most trustworthy nursemaid, Impa, to secretly escape into the land and go find a man with enough courage to destroy the evil Ganon. Upon hearing this, Ganon grew angry, imprisoned the princess, and sent out a party in search of Impa. Braving forests and mountains, Impa fled for her life from her pursuers. As she reached the very limit of her energy, she found herself surrounded by Ganon's evil henchmen. Cornered, what could she do? But wait! All is not lost. A young lad appeared. He skillfully drove off Ganon's henchmen and saved Impa from a fate worse than death. His name was Link. During his travels, he had come across Impa and Ganon's henchmen. Impa told Link the whole story of the Princess Zelda and the evil Ganon. Burning with a sense of justice, Link resolved to save Zelda, but Ganon was a powerful opponent. He held the Triforce of Power, and so, in order to fight off Ganon, Link had to bring the scattered 8 fragments of the Triforce of Wisdom together to rebuild the mystical triangle. If he couldn't do this, there would be no chance Link could fight his way into Death Mountain where Ganon lived. Can Link really destroy Ganon and save Princess Zelda? Only your skill can answer that question. Good luck. Use the Triforce wisely.
There you go. And thus, a series is born.
A series is born. What a great backstory too.
Seriously, right?
And then obviously the rest of the instruction booklet has a lot more information, but that's the gist of the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell, folks. Good night.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, what an epic, like just what an epic story, what an epic, to
Mm.
start what became this huge franchise. And again, getting back to the development of the game, I'm only going to talk a little bit about it so we can get into other things.
Yeah, sure.
But the inspiration for this game actually came from Shigeru Miyamoto. This I feel like if you've looked up any information about this game, it's pretty common because he says this in interviews a lot. He actually drew inspiration from his childhood and his experiences of exploring Kyoto, where he lived. He would explore fields, woods, caves. He tells stories about how he like randomly came across a lake one day while he was just wandering around as a boy. And those experiences stuck with him, which led him to develop a game like this where you get to go around and just explore. It's the reason why we got such an open world game. And in terms of the dungeons, he actually talks about how his home was basically a maze of sliding doors leading from room to room. And he actually drew inspiration from his own home when coming up with the idea of these dungeons that you had to explore, going from room to room. So, so again, just a really cool backstory into how this game came to be, or how he came up with the idea for the game. It was being developed in 1984 and 85. It was actually being worked on simultaneously with the original Super Mario Brothers. They were
Oh,
working on
okay.
both at the same time. It was originally planned for the Famicom Disk System, and
Yes.
we'll talk about that with the release because this game was a launch title for the Famicom Disk System. So the
Hmm.
Famicom Disk System is actually turning 40
Oh,
today as
wow.
well
There you
on the
go.
21st as well, February 21st. Um, Takashi Tezuka, who worked on the story and script, um, when he handed off the layout for the actual uh, dungeon
Hmm.
and the overworld, he actually handed Nakago, the main programmer, double the amount of dungeon pieces that wound up in the game. So he actually
Oh,
gave
wow.
him twice the size.
Hmm.
The overworld map, the entire overworld map made it into the game. But the dungeon, um, Nakago only used half of what he was given for the dungeon pieces. As a result of this, when they were finishing up, when they were working on the game, they realized because they only used half of the dungeon pieces, they had they only used up half of the space for the actual cartridge or the
Oh,
disc,
I see.
what the disc could help. And that's why we wound up with a second quest.
That was going through my head when you said that because I'm like, oh, I wonder if they ended up reusing them.
Yeah, they didn't wind up reusing them. What they just wound up
Well,
doing was they created the second quest because there
yeah.
was so much space left on the disc for it, and they
Hmm.
wanted to make sure that the game didn't get canceled because they were worried if they had handed in a completed game that only used up
Oh,
half the
I gotcha.
memory,
Yeah.
they weren't going to release it. So they
Yeah.
made the second quest to fill up the disc.
And what's funny is I don't think I knew about the second quest till Nintendo Power years later. When they talked about how you can just jump straight to the second
Mhm.
quest by typing in the name Zelda.
Yep.
Because I never came close to beating that game when I was a kid.
Well, what's funny too is that when I beat the game as a kid, after I finished the first quest, I moved on to another game. I had no idea about the second quest until I read about it too. And actually, one of the things I read too is the Nintendo fan club newsletter actually was born based on the Legend of Zelda. It was actually the insert in the game if you wanted to join the Nintendo Fun Club. Um,
That's
there, wa-
probably how I did it.
yeah, before Nintendo Power, there was a
Yeah. No,
Nintendo
there
Fun
was
Club newsletter. Yeah.
it was like a bi-monthly or something. Like I remember this because then I remember the advertisement for Nintendo Power, and then
Yep.
I went on to Nintendo Power.
Exactly. So what started as a newsletter actually came from an insert
That's
in the
probably
Zelda
where it
game.
came from. Okay.
And then in terms of the setting for the game, it was decided that they wanted the setting to be fantasy related because they were actually inspired by the Lord of the Rings.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh,
So
I
Lord of the
can
Rings kind of came from that.
totally see that. Yeah.
Yep. Like I mentioned before, the game was released February 21st, 1986. It was a launch title with the Famicom Disk System. It came along with Super Mario Brothers, tennis, baseball, golf, soccer, and mahjong. Those were all the games released on the disk system at the time. We didn't get it in North America until a year and a half later, August 22nd, 1987.
Wow.
And then in terms of re-releases, because we all know Nintendo loves to do re-releases.
Oh, baby.
So if you did not, if you were either not born yet or weren't into video games yet, you had plenty of opportunities to pick this up on different consoles. In 1994, they finally released a Famicom version of the game instead of the disc system. It was only
Wait, in
available
94?
1994.
I didn't realize
So
it was that late.
yeah,
Okay.
so for 8 years, you can only play this game on the Famicom disk system in Japan.
Wow.
They released it in 1994. In 1995, and now I need to find myself a copy of this one. In 1995, they re-released the game on the Super Famicom, but not as a cartridge. It was released on the Satellaview.
Yes.
The Satellaview was an online service in Japan where you could access versions of the game. And in the Super Famicom version on the Satellaview, they did a remixed layout of the map. So it was a completely different experience.
I'm pretty sure I have a version of it
Really?
on cart. I could have sworn, no offense, I thought I gave you one. Legend of Zelda BS. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called BS
Check
Legend
your.
of Zelda, but I do not have a copy of it.
You sure? I could have sworn I gave you something.
All right. I will double check.
All right, check it later. But in any event, yeah, no, this thing was really cool because also there was like, because it was online, there was like timed intervals or things would happen at certain times of the day or days of the week or something, which I think was a little hard to replicate on the emulator, on the physical cartridge.
Yep.
But it is definitely like a 16, it's like an all-stars version of Zelda. It is so much fun to play.
Yeah, and I've never played it, so I really need to.
Wow. Okay.
And then skipping over the Nintendo 64, it did not come out on the Nintendo 64.
It did not, no.
But on the GameCube, you were able to play it in 2001. It was hiding in Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
Yes, it was. I think I unlocked it in Animal Crossing. I think that's why I bought Animal Crossing because it was an early virtual console.
Yeah, basically.
Only reason why I had it.
Yeah, because I had a few other games hiding in there.
Oh, Mario, a lot of like the black box games
yes.
and Zelda.
And then in 2003, it was released on the GameCube again with the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, which Larry is holding up right there. I did not put that out actually on my wall.
How dare you, sir?
I know. I ran out of room. But yes,
I don't know. I see a couple games up there you could have replaced, but be that as it may.
Oh, we'll talk about those later. But
this thing was amazing.
I remember being so impressed by that,
right?
Because that was the free one you got, right?
It was. I forgot what game. It was a pre-order.
It was if you pre-ordered because there were two. There was one that had Ocarina of Time with the Master Quest.
That's this one here, yeah,
right there. And then you got the other one, because I have both of those.
Yep.
And I know one was a pre-order. I don't know. Well, both of them I don't think were for sale.
No, because both say not for resale, I think.
Yeah, so one was they were both pre-orders of some kind.
Yeah.
I don't remember how you got them, but one of them
This
one came with Wind Waker.
That makes sense.
One came with Wind Waker. I just don't know which one.
That makes sense. Probably the collector's edition.
Probably.
But yeah, because the collector's edition had Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. And and it says include playable demo of Wind Waker.
Yep.
Like this version on the GameCube for me, besides the Animal Crossing version, this really was the first time I got to replay Zelda on a modern console at the time.
Yep.
Because I think my NES was long gone at that point. Or at least I wasn't. That it was in the distance. Like kind of retro gaming wasn't there yet.
Yep.
But this was like, ooh, I remember these games. And I did, again, I never beat it, but I did play a lot of it.
Yeah, and I beat it on the GameCube. Just like I beat it on every system I played it on.
I have a quick story I'll tell later about you beating a game on an interesting console. We'll save that later.
Yes, we'll talk about that. 2004, it was released on the Game Boy Advance.
I had that, yes.
2006, it was released on the Wii Virtual Console.
I think I had that, yes.
2008, a version I did not know about because I didn't own this game. On Wii's Super Smash Bros. Brawl, there was a timed demo in the game of the original Legend of Zelda.
On the Wii or the Wii U?
On the Wii, Super Smash Bros. Brawl in 2008.
I don't remember that. Because I didn't have Brawl.
Yeah, I didn't have Brawl either. I have Brawl in my collection now, but I've never played it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how to play that time demo. 2011, the 3DS Virtual Console.
Had that one.
2018 on the Nintendo Switch as part of the Nintendo's Classic Collection.
Got it. Yep.
And then 2021, we got the little Game and Watch.
Yes, that's this one.
Yes, there
Right
it
there.
is.
And then, of course, if you see right over my shoulder, it was also on the classics, the NES Classic.
And then the NES Classics. Yep.
So it's playable.
I mean, yeah, you can find it everywhere. I have two of those Game and Watches. You remember that story?
I do. I almost called your
Oh, man.
services on something like that recently, but yes, that was an epic story.
Oh my gosh. All right, some quick stats on this.
Yeah.
Total sales of the original Legend of Zelda on NES, both Famicom and Nintendo Entertainment System globally, sold 11.1 million units.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The total franchise sales for the Legend of Zelda franchise as a whole has surpassed 150 million units sold.
Wow.
So
Okay.
definitely nothing to shake a stick at.
No.
The top 5 best-selling games per Video Game Sales Wiki. Number 5 is Link's Awakening at 12.69 million.
Really? I would have thought that'd be a little higher, but okay, fair enough.
Number 4 is A Link to the Past with 12.71 million.
Wow. Okay.
Number 3, Ocarina of Time, 14 million.
I'm not looking forward to the top of this list.
Number 2, Tears of the Kingdom, 22.4 million. And number 1, Breath of the Wild, 35.3 million units sold.
I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to complain.
Nope. Nor should you.
But 3, 4, and 5 definitely, I feel, always interchangeable for me as far as top. I mean, like I wrote a top 3 to be honest with you, and I did put in order for me the original Link's Awakening, not even DX, the original Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, and Ocarina of Time. That Link's Awakening game was phenomenal. The original one.
I know, and I've never played the original one. I played the remake on the Switch.
But the original you can play now on. Oh no, you don't have the thing anymore. But it's on the Game Boy collection on the Switch.
Oh, okay.
Well, Link's Awakening DX, but nevertheless, it's the same game with an added dungeon. But the original is just great. But okay, I can see those games, with that list.
Well, see, in my top 3, they never change. They change order sometimes, but otherwise, like my top 3 have, and they still remain to this day the same. It's Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past, and the original Legend of Zelda on NES. Like those are always my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I do love them. Maybe they definitely fall in. Maybe they fall in like 4 or 5, but I don't know. But my top 3 are always my top 3.
Fair enough.
In 2016, The Legend of Zelda was accepted into the Video Game Hall of Fame.
Yes.
It was a second year inductee. And last but not least, just another piece of information is that this game constantly lands itself on every top 100 list. Whenever any company or any website does top 100 video games ever made, I defy you to find a top 100 that does not include The Legend of Zelda on the NES.
I'll dare say top 50. I mean, I'll go that far. I mean, it's a game. It became almost became a genre. You know how like a lot of games unfairly, like a lot of run and gun games get unfairly compared to Contra. Like, it's a Contra game. It's it looks like Contra. There's definitely a lot of games out there that have that, it's a Zelda game, play it like Zelda. You know what I mean? Like that's how good you it's almost a measuring stick where a game gets so good it becomes its own, like Q-Tip and Band-Aid. Those aren't the official names, those are brand names, but you still compare things to them. So when Zelda got there, especially that one game, oh my god, I can't remember the name of it, the Master System game that I don't know how Nintendo did not, it wasn't their original cease and desist.
Not Newtopia, it wasn't.
No, dang it.
I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, when I remember when I played it, it was definitely it was like something I had never played before. The top-down element to it, right? You had this top-down element. It was action-oriented. There was a little bit of there was some RPG like pieces in there. Like it was such a mix. Whenever anybody asks me how I would define Legend of Zelda. I don't know what category to put it in because I feel like it covers
No, you're right.
so many different categories that it kind of belongs in its own category.
It belongs in a museum.
You
No,
know,
you're exactly right. So,
so because you can level up your character to a degree by getting
mhm.
certain items, right? You collect items, you collect hearts, you collect the pieces of the tripod. There's so many things going on. But then when you're in the overworld, it's all overworld dungeon. It's just standard, like, top down action.
I mean, officially it's deemed action adventure, but I know
Yep.
I understand exactly what you're talking about with that gameplay. And
Yep.
it's special because me being me, I'm not into those heavy RPGs. Like I
Right.
never got into Final Fantasy for those reasons and stuff like that. But this, even though you're right, it has the leveling up, if you will, to a degree. Two
Yep.
rings, what, two or three swords, two swords in this one.
Yep.
It's still that action. Like it's not really hit points per se. It's action. So
Yep.
I definitely hear what you're talking about there.
Yep. And the level design to me was just always brilliant. Like I love the fact that you had this open world format where there was no set order in which you did things. You just go off on your adventure and you figure it out along the way. Now,
That's what it is. Yes.
yeah,
Figure it out.
you figure it out along the way. Now there are certain things you need to do in order to advance
Hmm.
in certain elements, but for argument's sake, like if you wanted to, you could just find your way on the map and wander over to level 4, or
Yeah.
you know get a candle and then just walk around the world burning things until you found secrets. And
Technically, you can access what you can access level 9 way early in the game. If you find it properly, because all you do is you burn a bush or a tree.
no,
Oh no, no, no! I'm sorry. That's
you
bomb.
blow up
Well,
a
still
rock. You
same
bomb a
thing.
rock. Yep.
You still bomb. I mean, the bush one is a later one as well. But yeah, I mean, like you jump into it, and you're like, whoa, where am I? Like, and then you're like, all right,
Exactly.
this is definitely too early.
Well, yeah, especially when the top of your screen says level 9. It's like,
That
oops.
that too,
Well, I
yeah.
just remember, like, always, as soon as I would get the candle, I would always find level 8 first, because you would burn a
That's the one I'm
bush
thinking
like
of.
not too far
Yes,
away, and you're in level 8, and it's like, oh, it's like interesting. And then one of the fun things I love reading about too is that originally when they developed the game, they were gonna have Link start with the sword in his hand, and you would just go around,
I like
uh,
this story. I've heard this one. Yeah.
yeah, using the sword. But they found during focus groups and tests that people found the game too difficult because they weren't sure what to do. So then they put the old man in the game for you to go get the sword to teach you, like, you need to go into these like holes in the wall, and you need to interact with people that you find in the game in order to learn and do certain things.
It's almost a Miyamoto calling card
Yep.
that, like, the first level, I mean, or the first thing in this case, is a tutorial. It's exactly what World 1-1 is in Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
It is a legit tutorial of how to play the game and what to expect in the game. So later on, when I discovered that reasoning for it, where you go in and you find it, it's right there. The cave is right there.
Yep.
And then, again, just growing up and realizing all the stories, to see Miyamoto do this, it almost makes me want to go back to a lot of his other games and see those first levels. That'd be maybe a fun episode to do. I mean, it's up to you.
Yep.
Like to see what other stuff Miyamoto has done, or like first levels of these like tutorials, if you will, that aren't known to be tutorials. But Zelda, that little difference of having a sword to start with versus having to find the sword, because otherwise you're walking around and a lot of people have gotten to Ganon without getting the sword.
Yep.
But still, just that, like, I can't think of the I can't think of a Zelda game nowadays where if you started with a sword, it's like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's synonymous with the game. You have to be given a sword. You can't
Mhm.
just have one. You can't
Yeah.
just wake up and have one. And that I think has carried out through. I want to argue and say every game in the franchise. Like you don't just start with
For the
one. You're always
most
given one.
part,
I think so.
yeah.
Although I haven't done enough research in that to know that.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
remember. It's a lot of the newer
nope.
ones, and there's a couple cart-based ones
Yeah.
recently that are terrible. But
Yep.
yeah, no, it's definitely a staple in it. It's almost like when the new game comes out, you almost think to yourself, "Oh, where am I going to have to find a sword? Almost like when a new Metroid game comes out. I just did it with Metroid Prime 4. Literally, I'm like, okay, at what point do I lose all my abilities in the suit? Because
Yep.
it's like 12 games in. I'm doing that. I know it's not the right number, but so many Metroid games in, and every one involves you having to level up the suit. When by now you should be like, I should have everything. So
Exactly.
it's a cool what's the word I'm looking for thing that Zelda does. So
Yeah, it's like a through line that you're
yes,
always going to
yes.
get in every version of the game.
This is Coke Zero Sugar with real Coca-Cola taste and zero sugar. Listen closely. Hear those bubbles? That's the sound of delicious real Coca-Cola taste and zero sugar. Ice cold. Ah, Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coca-Cola taste. Zero sugar.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Yep.
Want to go through some fun facts with me?
Let's do it.
Let's see which ones you know and which ones you don't know. Zelda. Do you know who Zelda was actually originally named after? I did not know this.
I want to say yes, but I can't. I feel like it's a queen or somebody or a princess.
So Zelda was named after the novelist, painter, writer Zelda Fitzgerald,
Never mind.
who was the wife of F. Scott Fitzgerald.
It was. I knew it was a wife of some sort.
Yeah, it was wife of
Okay.
somebody. The original title theme of The Legend of Zelda that we know, the famous overworld theme, was not originally supposed to be in the game. The original title theme was actually going to be Bolero. If you know the classical music version of Bolero.
Okay.
But Koji Kondo found out in 1985 or 86, it wasn't in the public domain yet.
Oh, there you go.
And so he wasn't allowed to use it. So as a result of that, he turned around and created the Overworld song that we all know in one day.
That's wild.
One day. But it was originally supposed to be Bolero. So yeah, so originally Bolero was chosen because it had the right speed, the RPMs.
Okay. Yep.
It had the right speed that matched the game itself, which is why he had chosen it. But unfortunately, he didn't have the rights to use it. But I'm not complaining because we got one of the most memorable, well-known
Epic
tracks ever.
Absolute
In fact,
epic.
It's still my ringtone on my phone.
Yeah.
That is the ringtone on my phone. It's been there. It's been there for like a decade.
That is awesome.
Yep. In Japanese, the game was actually originally called, and if you have the Japanese game, which I do, and I did not put out my Japanese game. Shame on me. The Japanese game was originally called the Hyrule Fantasy Zelda.
Mm.
And then, of course, it became The Legend of Zelda. We talked about the second quest for a moment earlier. I'm sure you know this. 5 of the second quest dungeons are laid out to spell out the name Zelda.
Yeah.
So the actual maps are that size. The American version of the game was actually censored.
Yeah. Oops. Well, not really. Oops. It's just it's a cultural thing, but
it's a cultural thing.
That was ruined by a bunch of people. Well, one guy.
Yeah. It was because the book of magic in the North American version is actually the Bible in the Japanese version.
Not what I was thinking of. I forgot about that. You're right on that. I'm thinking of one of the level layouts.
Oh yeah, I know the level layout you're
Yeah.
talking about. And there were in the Japanese version, there are other religious references that they just removed from the North American game. The original concept of the game had time travel. Did you know this?
The original concept? No.
The original concept of the game had time travel, and the way that it was going to lay out is that Link spends the first half of the game in the past learning about the Triforce and Zelda, and then he travels to the future to complete his mission of assembling the Triforce to save Zelda.
That almost sounds familiar.
And that's the reason why they named him Link, because the whole point of him was to link the past to the future. And obviously we got that time travel later with Ocarina of Time.
And Link to the Past.
And Link
if you
to the
will,
Past. Yeah, Link to the Past. So they just used that story later.
Well, Link to the Past not as much time travel, but Ocarina of Time is, yeah.
Yep.
But boy, Miyamoto always has these amazing ideas, but like are unable to implement them until the Super Nintendo.
Exactly. And speaking of unable to implement things, the original Legend of Zelda, Miyamoto actually wanted to put a dungeon creation system in the game so that gamers would have their hand at creating their own version of the game for themselves.
I think I've heard that. I've heard of that. And with the success of Mario Maker, how there never was a Zelda Maker, there kind of was.
There was, yes.
In Link's Awakening on the Switch, which was cool. But to do like a full on, I mean, can you imagine what that would have been like? I would have never seen you again.
I was just about to say, I would have gone missing. I would have
forget about it.
I would have been on a milk carton because I would have just been locked in my room making Zelda games.
No, you wouldn't. We would know where exactly you are. We just would never have seen you again.
You would never see me again. A couple of more little fun facts. In the credits of the game, I didn't know this one either, but in the credits of the game, Nintendo was very protective of the creators of the game because they were afraid that competitors would swoop in and steal their talent.
That makes sense to me.
So when you read the credits of the game, everyone's name is a pseudonym. They don't have their original names listed in the credits.
Huh.
So, for example, when you see
Miyamoto?
Not even Miyamoto.
Oh, no.
When you see the credits in the game, like the director of the game, which is supposed to be Shigeru Miyamoto, is actually S. Miyahan.
Oh.
Miyahon. So, and then, Takashi Tezuka is like T. Nakazu. Like they literally changed everybody's name. Koji Kondo is Kanchan. Just one word.
Okay.
Konchan. They changed everybody's name so that they would not get poached by competitors, which
fair
is
enough.
Kind of smart.
No, totally.
Yeah. And then the last thing I wanted to share, because there's going to be some video I want to share with this, because we all know how iconic the North American NES commercial was when it first came out. Yep. Because you had this weird skinny guy with a curly fro running around screaming Zelda's name and then all the names of the so I'm going to share a fun fact with that, and then I want to roll into showing a couple of those commercials.
Let's do it.
From The Legend of Zelda. But did you know that the actor who played that guy running around, his name is John Cassier? He went on to a bit of a more famous role because he was the voice of the Crypt Keeper in HBO's Tales from the Crypt.
Really? I did not know that.
And if you pay attention to the commercials I'm going to play now, especially particularly that one, I think you'll make the connection now when you hear his voice.
Watch Zelda become a legend on your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Zelda! After rocks!
Which way you
go? Good time. Pee hands! Levers! Zelda!
The Legend of Zelda. A never-ending adventure new for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Zelda! Did you see the latest Nintendo newsletter?
Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
You mean you haven't played it yet? We can play it on my Nintendo Entertainment System. It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, Levers, too. But with your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go Link, yeah, get Zelda.
Awesome.
Intense.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up. The Legend of Zelda sold separately.
ゼルダの伝説もさすがディスクで面白い下手くそ
向かってくるけどやめられないやればやるほどディスクシステム
Nintendo It's for breakfast now Nintendo It's a cereal Wow Nintendo Super Mario Chunks Nintendo In a fruit flavored crunch Nintendo Here's Zelda too cereal system is a super part of this nutritious breakfast. Nintendo. 2 cereals in 1. Wow!
I remember the one with the Crypt Keeper in the jail cell.
Yes. Yes.
And looking at it now, it almost seems like a 90s commercial, really, like the way it was acting around. But I just screaming all the names of the characters. I'm like, all right, what about the game? Like, it was so weird to focus on the enemies, but no, that was a big sell of that commercial. And of course, the cereal commercials were phenomenal.
The cereal commercial was great. Even the Legend of Zelda rap from that other kid.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that rap. Yes.
Yes. Very, very memorable.
Oh.
But at the time too, like commercials were so expensive that like you had to really focus in on like you can see like the one with obviously John Kassir screaming, like he's just in a black room, like there's nothing behind him, and it's just so just really, really creative, and got you interested in the game just because you saw like the different things like they would pop into the screen, and then he's screaming Zelda. Like to me, like all of that was kind of interesting. And then
no, totally.
And then see the Japanese commercial where like all they do is scream at you.
Yeah, I was trying to feel like that would not want me to buy the game if I was a kid. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have an adult yell in my face. Okay, I think I'll pass on this one.
She yells back at him.
She does. She gave it back to him. That's true.
She gave it back to him.
Wild to see all the commercials, but again, just I got that wash of nostalgia, as I call it, when I saw the one with him screaming Octorok.
I always remembered Tektite. When he would say Tektite. But like all in all, I mean, like, and then we've talked a little bit about it, but like my personal experience with this game, this game is probably the one game in video game history I have beaten more times than any other game.
I've seen you do it a couple of times too.
Yep.
And like I said, like I had it. I definitely had it. Let's face facts. That epic gold cartridge just made it stand out so much more.
Oh yeah.
Especially seeing it in your collection, the gold cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
But I like I said, growing up, I never gave it enough time to play. And there's a lot of games that I did that because I was always on to the next one, and somehow I played it casually. But it wasn't until probably within the last year and a half where I actually gave it the college try, and I went all in. It was the Switch version, the one on the Classics collection.
Yep.
And but I did it without looking things up. Like I know the game back and forth, like the back of your hand. Me,
except
I don't.
Level 9 I can never like commit to memory.
Yeah, that one's a little tough. It's almost like the last Bowser level in Mario.
Yes.
Where like it takes you a couple tries until the muscle memory kicks in. Then you're like, all right, here's how I go through it. And that one, admittedly, I probably did finally go to the web just to figure out where to go on level 9. But for the most part, I was very proud of myself for not doing that and able to. Yes, a lot of it was memory as well, but to able to get through that game and beat it, like legit beat it.
Yep.
And remember, I didn't pull a kung fu. I remembered to swipe at the fire before going to get Zelda herself.
Oh yes, do not. Yes, because you could kill yourself before you get Zelda.
Forget about it. But my most epic memory of you playing it, and I mentioned this.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Way before on the podcast when I was on here, but it was New York Comic Con, and we got there at before dawn. We're lined up in the Javits Center, so we're lined up in the basement waiting for hours. We're all chilling out, all of us. And I had my 3DS with me, and yes, I had downloaded from that Ambassador collection. I had the original Zelda. It wasn't in 3D, it was just regular. And we were getting kind of bored. We were done talking to each other, all of us. And I was like, oh, yeah, I was playing something, and you inquired. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Here, I got Zelda. Oh, let me play. I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I don't know. Before doors open, you were done with the game. And you ran through it. For a person who hates handhelds, you ran through that pretty quickly on there. So I'll never forget that.
Yeah, well, Zelda's always the exception to the rule for everything. I will play Zelda on anything. I really will. Although I still haven't opened my game and watched Zelda.
Well, you got 2 of them, so you should be able to open one of them.
I know I should be able to open one of them. But yeah, I mean, like every time I think about this game, and again, not just the franchise itself, but just the original game.
Yeah,
like,
the original. Yeah.
It brings me back to my 8-year-old self or 10-year-old self, however old I was when this came out, and just how much I absolutely loved it. It was my favorite game on the NES. It's still one of my favorite games of all time and always will be. And now 40 years later, like you can see where they've taken this franchise. I mean, I know you're not the biggest fan of the last two.
No,
But
all joking aside, yeah. Besides, actually, I really haven't been a fan. But it's also me being me, where I want the old school, and I know, like, I'm not the demo for it, but like I like the 2D. I would love for them. Some of the 3D games are cool, but yeah, some of the more as Zelda got more and more intricate as far as how to play the game, that and then the Switch just took it to a whole nother level. But also just the simplicity of the original game.
Yep.
But it wasn't simple, if that makes any sense.
No, I totally get what you're
Yeah.
saying. And I love where they've taken the franchise. And what I also love is that they still remember their roots because, if anything, when they released Echoes of Wisdom, they showed that they're not afraid to go back to that simpler style.
True.
So I'm sure in the future, we're not just going to see these giant open world versions because there's still a hunger for those simpler, maybe 16-bit style. I mean, for everything that we hear, like there are rumors swirling that they're going to announce this year an Ocarina of Time remastered or remake to celebrate the 40th. But like so far, like everything's been kind of quiet. So I'm curious to see what they announce when this episode drops on the 21st.
Well, if they treat it like they did the 35th anniversary, it's not going to be much. This is
Yeah,
going to
I
be the
know,
only
that-
anniversary episode there is.
Yeah, the 35th didn't get a lot of love. I'm expecting the 40th to get more, but like, there's not, to me, you can't heap enough praise on this franchise, and you always have to go back to the first one where it started. And for that, we celebrate the 40th birthday of The Legend of Zelda. You can't, there's, any parting thoughts on that one?
No, again, it's a series that you can't, whether love it or hate it, you can't deny it. It's again the number of clones. The game I was trying to think of before, just for continuity's sake, Golden Axe Warrior is the game
Oh,
on the
yes.
Master System that is a blatant ripoff of the original Legend of Zelda. Again, I don't know how Sega got away with it, but seeing the impact that this series has, not only that, but then like all the like the figures, the like when I go to Comic-Con and I see like the homemade stuff, like I have a wonderful wooden like laser etched or wooden made map of Hyrule from the first game, which is absolutely gorgeous. And like the game that has hidden features, I didn't realize there was little hidden features on the map. I turned it over one day and there was a whole saying on the back of it, which I never looked
that's
at because
cool.
the back is against the wall. So
Very
that and seeing how the games are still factored in.
You can see you were
Oh,
with
yeah.
me at the Renaissance Fair when I bought the Sword and Shield.
I still got mine, and I still think the one I saw on the wall was way bigger than the one that we bought. But be that as it may,
I might agree with that. And you can also see my etched. You gave me, I think, that etched controller that has the Triforce on the.
yes, yep. So like those little things, how neither one of us don't own an ocarina because I'm always seeing ocarinas when I go out because that is a real thing even before the game came about.
I have held them in my hand and almost purchased them several times.
You gotta get a proper blue one though.
But yes, it has to be a
one.
blue
Yeah,
one. It just has to be a blue one.
And then on top of that, like where Link ends up. Soul Calibur 2 on GameCube had Link in it. If you remember that, which is available on the Switch. There was a level on Sonic, I think it was Sonic Lost Worlds. That was a Zelda themed level on the Wii U.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
Yep. So like Zelda wasn't in it, but Link wasn't in it. But and that's the other thing. Let's give credit where credit is due. For all these years, Zelda is the title, but Link is. I mean, Zelda's had her day. She's had a couple of good runs in the game, but Link, poor Link, he's, and like I said, if he utters one line of dialogue in this new movie coming out, I'm out. I'm leaving the theater. I want a silent Zelda.
Yep.
I mean, Silent Link. See, even I do it.
See, you mix it up all the time. But I was just gonna say, yeah, we've gotten to the point now where like we're getting a
live action
picture, feature. I almost said picture like I'm 100 years old.
But a moving picture. With talkies.
A talkie. It has words.
He'll never make it.
Although Link won't speak.
The Charlie Chaplin of Nintendo.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But like,
yes,
there's so many things to look forward to with the Legend of Zelda franchise as it continues to grow, which makes it all the more important to stop and remember where it all started. And with that, we're going to wish The Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System a very, very happy 40th birthday. You've never looked younger, unlike us. And for those of you out there, please remember to like and subscribe to the Retro Gamers Podcast. You can find us everywhere at the Retro Gamers Podcast. Larry, thank you so much for joining me for this celebration. As you know, this was probably the most important one for me.
No, always happy to be here, and especially for this one though, because I know how much you love this game, so I'm very happy to have done this, and it made me go down memory lane, and I might have to pop in a game or two.
I think you should. And with that, everybody out there, let's hear what you think about The Legend of Zelda on the NES. Please comment in the comments section, shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. And on that note, we will catch you next time on the special Retro Roundup for the Retro Gamers Podcast.